Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another installment of our weekly Subspace Developer Sync. Today, we're going to go around and get updates from the team on what we have been working on. We do have one new team member starting this week. Parth Desai is going to be our integrations lead, but he's not going to be at the call today. He'll be here next week, so we'll get to introduce him then. Let's start with the core protocol. Nizar, if you would like to kick us off, please.
Of course. Last week, focus was, as previously, implementation of the DSN and also implementation of version 2 of the consensus spec. On the consensus side, I have implemented initial plotting and farming. What's left is to implement replotting and also verification and block production on the node side. That's my immediate priority. I hope to have that working this week.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Those are great progress. All right. Moving on. Shamil.
Sure. Last week I finished code cleanup for the previous JSON version and started adding features to the next one. I added pieces announcement for the JSN and modified nodes to serve as pieces providers. My next task for this week will be adding custom request response protocol to pull data from nodes to farmers. Actually, this will support plotting, our new plotting. That's it.
Great. Also wonderful progress, Shamil. Okay. Yvonne, we're going to skip you for the core protocol and talk about your stuff in the app sync, unless there's anything you need to cover on the core protocol today.
Nope, nothing from my side.
Okay, cool. All right, moving on to the execution layer and domains. No updates on my side on the R&D or the documentation or design front. We are still working off the implementation plan that we devised last week. Luce, if you'd like to go next.
Sure. Last week, I finalized the DPR of fork handling and merging the receipts into bundle. It took much more time than I initially thought, as I kept finding issues while doing the self-review. I was also working on palette executor registry, which is still a work in progress. The plan for this week is to finish the basics of palette executor, and then I'll be working on the executor epoch transition. So by this week, hopefully it can be ready. Yeah, that's my update.
Great, thanks, Luce. Looking forward to seeing that by the end of this week. Okay, Ved, you're up next.
Hey everyone. Last week, the majority of the focus was on building Palette Messenger. Right now, we have the basic flow in, but without any checks as such. This week, main focus is getting some of those verifications right, and also on the technical spec side, update the relay spec a little bit post my discussion with Jeremy last week. I haven't had a chance to get into that yet, but I'll have something for us in the next feedback round. Apart from that, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And any small infrastructure helps for Nazar once in a while. Yeah.
Great, thanks. All right, moving on to the application layer. Arthur, if you'd like to kick us off, please.
Hey. So last week, we concluded our audit with Trail of Bits. So the team's now working on the audit fixes that are provided by them. So we have more updates on that. On the subscan front, we had a minor fix in the UI where now the rewards address are going to be counted if it's over 0.5 SCC instead of the previous 0.3. Additionally, last week, Jeremiah and I had also worked out our product roadmap for Q4, and then we'll be having milestones for that shortly. That's it on my end.
Thanks, Arthur. All right, Serge, you're next.
Yeah, so on telemetry, there were a few minor updates. So
currently the dots on the map have logarithmic scale, so it's a little bit more UI friendly. However, we are not showing map at the moment. And we also included most recent changes, which were like in the front-end stress test branch to the Subspace customizations branch, which is the one we are supposed to use in production going forward. And most of the time I was working on security audit. So there was an issue with dependencies and updating dependencies. Some of them have vulnerabilities. And those are dependencies that are used not by us directly, but in the Quasar framework. And so I reached out to one of the maintainers, and he said, of course, he will update it in the near future, but it sounded like he's very busy. A good thing is those are development dependencies, so they are not included into the actual like bundle that is shipped to the clients. So we can include, and actually like Trail of Bits, they already mentioned this in the report, so it's relatively minor. Yeah, and another issue was error handling, which was also mentioned in the report. And I submitted PR. It's currently draft because I need to clarify some. We introduced a bunch of errors there, and our current generic message, it doesn't really fit well with those new errors. So we need to do some updates there, but all the logic is implemented. And yeah, I had a conversation with Spart, and yeah, looking forward to talking to him this week. That's all.
Great, thanks for the detailed update, Serge. All right, Özkan, you're up next.
Hello, like Serge, I'm focused on the Subspace desktop audit fixes, and the major one was the dependency updates. Like Serge mentioned, he's taking care of the front-end ones, I'm taking care of the back-end ones. And for that, there were a couple of easy ones, but some of them are not easy because these are dependencies of other dependencies. But the good news is the two vulnerable crates reported time and owning graph. We are not using the vulnerable part of these dependencies, and so it's good to go. I had a discussion with Trail of Bits, so they confirmed, yeah, then it's fine. Other than that, there were a couple other issues, like fixing the early validation for the farmer code, fixing the node code application, and I replaced the broken Discord link with the permanent form link, so that if any bad thing happens, our users will be directed to the forum instead of Discord. And reviewed Natasha's and Serge's PR, and also finalized the configuration for the backend. And we had a small discussion with adding cargo audit to our workflows, but probably we are not going to do that. Yeah, that's all.
Great, thanks, Özkan. Glad you and Serge are working hard. Everybody's working hard on getting all the issues from the audit corrected as quickly as possible. Sounds like you're getting to learn about dependency health. All right, Yvonne, you're up next.
Yeah, sure. So during last week, I actually did the second take on the Subspace SDK. So our like Rust wrapper library around the both Node and Farmer. Yeah, so Jeremiah, I also updated the description. So yeah, I'll ping you in the DM about that. So apart from that, I was also working on the issue about the limiting updates on the number of nodes for the telemetry. So I think, yeah, we could probably also like fix that if we would like bundle all the updates and send them like every interval seconds. So for example, like we can send like node updates and everything like every second. Yeah, but right now actually the updates of the node count and the updates from the node are sent are sent reactively. So I'm working on fixing that. Yeah. So hoping to send the PR this week. Yeah, that's all on my end.
Great, thank you, Ivan. Excited to hear we've got some work done on the SDK again. Looking forward to reviewing that. All right, Natasha, you are up next.
Hello, everyone. For me, last week, I worked on my first PR, which was pretty exciting. Also, worked a little bit on the backend with the help of Oxgoon and Search, and also continue working with my onboarding checklist. That will be what I will be continuing doing this week, and also reviewing more of the telemetry projects.
Awesome, that is exciting that you're doing your first PR. Okay, I think that's it for apps. So moving on to our research team, Daria.
Okay. So basically what I was doing the last week is similar to the previous one. It was split between the documenting the DSN version 1, the consensus specification, and the documenting things I've learned about KZG commitments and how we can use them. I guess we will discuss in the protocol sync meeting which are the things that I should be focusing on next, because a little blocked in 2 of those 3. So discuss later.
Okay, thank you for your patience, Daria, while I block you. I'm working on unblocking you as quick as I can. All right, I think that's it. Did I skip anybody? No, okay. All right, anything else we need to discuss before we close out today? All right, well, thank you everybody for the updates today. And thank you everybody for watching. We will see you again next week.